Today we're in Gila Bend, Arizona, which was once an important town on historic Highway 80 and still a really fun stop when traveling the interstate today. We're going to take a look around town, then we're going to head north of the town a little bit to the historic Gillespie Dam Bridge, which was once the longest bridge in Arizona. So let's go. Gila Bend, Arizona has been an important rest stop for travelers for well over 150 years. Originally called Gila Ranch, beginning in 1857, it was a stagecoach water and camping stop on the San Antonio-San Diego Mail Line, and then in 1858, it became a stage station for the famous Butterfield Overland Mail route to California. A settlement grew up around the station, and the town of Gila Bend was founded in 1872. The railroad arrived in 1879, and the town became known as the Crossroads of the Southwest. When automobiles started to gain popularity in the early 1900s, Gila Bend became an important stop in the desert between Phoenix and Yuma. When the Dixie Overland Highway was created in 1914, most of which later became historic Highway 80, the highway traveled right through Gila Bend. With Highway 80 cutting right through town, and later the arrival of Interstate 8, Gila Bend has been a great place to stretch your legs on a road trip for over 100 years. In this video, we're going to take a look at some of the interesting things to see on historic Highway 80 in Gila Bend. So here's the welcome sign to the town, and I thought this was pretty funny because it says home of 1,917 friendly people and 5 old crabs, and the sign actually names the old crabs. So I don't know what they had to do to get listed as old crabs on this sign, but here they are. Here's the 5 old crabs that live in Gila Bend. It also mentions that Gila Bend is where solar panels outnumber people. There's a huge solar farm here in the town, or right outside of the town, so that's probably pretty accurate. Driving through Gila Bend, you'll notice quite a few dinosaurs up and down what was once Highway 80. A cool place to stop for gifts in Gila Bend is M&J's. So let's take a look around. You can't miss the shop due to its bright yellow colors, its advertisement for thrifty ice cream, and of course, a giant dinosaur out in front. The shop has things like pottery, Indian jewelry, souvenirs, and a ton of statues for sale. The shop even has a little restaurant where you can get that aforementioned thrifty ice cream. Our next stop on historic Highway 80 in Gila Bend is Stouts Hotel, which was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 2018. With the increase in railroad and auto traffic in the early 1900s, Albert Stout decided to open a general store and a hotel across from the Gila Bend Railroad Station in 1914. Gila Bend was approximately halfway between Tucson and Yuma, and in those days, still a few hours drive from Phoenix. Because of the hot desert temperatures and poor road conditions, Gila Bend was a perfect rest stop for overnight stays or even daytime stays to avoid the heat. The original hotel burned down but was rebuilt and reopened in 1916. The building was expanded in 1923 and again in 1927 when the second floor was added and the entrance was moved to Highway 80 to take advantage of the increasing automobile traffic. Right across the street from Stouts Hotel is Gila Bend's 9/11 Memorial Park, with a piece of the World Trade Center as its centerpiece. Gila Bend's 9/11 Memorial Park opened on November 5, 2011. A few years after the attacks, the 9/11 Authority in New York allowed cities to petition to get artifacts from the World Trade Center, and after waiting 8 years, Gila Bend received this 4,000-pound piece from one of the towers. The park is overall really nice, well kept up, and a touching memorial to that dark day. And of course, no trip to Gila Bend is complete without a stop at the Space Age Lodge, where a UFO has landed on top of the lobby. Al Stovall opened the Space Age Lodge in 1965. Stovall had friends in the military, and through those connections, he was able to get autographed photos of astronauts, which he then hung on the walls of the lodge's restaurant. After Stovall died, Best Western took over operation of the lodge. In 1998, a neon sign on the roof caught fire and the restaurant burned down. Hilariously though, the lodge put up a sign saying that they had been attacked by aliens. The restaurant was rebuilt and reopened in 1999. The food at the restaurant is your typical diner fare, and while the restaurant is really cool to look at, for me personally, I'd say that eating there once is probably enough. And now to head just a bit out of town on historic Highway 80. So now we're about 24 miles north of Gila Bend at the Gillespie Dam Bridge. This bridge was built in 1927, and when it was built, it was the longest bridge in Arizona. And it's right next to the Gillespie Dam, which failed in 1993, but makes an amazing photo opportunity now. Prior to the bridge being built, traveling through the area was problematic due to the Gila River. Once the bridge was completed in 1927, traveling Highway 80 through the area became much easier. The bridge remained part of Highway 80 until 1956, when the highway was rerouted to where Highway 85 is now. The Gillespie Dam Bridge was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1981, and in 2012 it was restored as part of Arizona's 100th anniversary. And when they restored it, they added a parking lot and an interpretive center. Unfortunately, the interpretive center is missing all of its signage as of the filming of this video. In 1993, after a large storm, the Gillespie Dam failed, but only minimal damage was done to the bridge. Nowadays, the dam site is a popular spot for fishing, or just sitting around and doing some bird watching. So that's our look at the town of Gila Bend and the historic Gillespie Dam Bridge. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and we'll see you next week.